this is?
The real deal.
Oh, what the f? Where did you get that?
eBay.
Hey, what's up? I'm Daniel Thrasher.
And I'm Jeremy, I'm his editor.
And today we are going to be breaking down the video when the acting is really, really bad, cut by cut. Okay, we'll stop here. So, music.
The music was very intentional because I don't know if you've ever seen a movie or a TV show where there's like a psychopath. Always, they rock it to classical music.
Let's get it, boys!
If you have a friend who loves classical music, listens to it recreationally,
He's a serial killer.
he's a serial killer.
Normally, when you put music under something, it feels like it's an underscore. But if you try to give it a sense of environment, then you have to manipulate the EQs to make it feel like it's in the room. So if there's a lot of bass and a lot of presence, it'll feel like it's underscoring what's happening. But this is, you kind of gave it like a treble-y thing,
Yeah,
right?
we have some like high pass and low pass effects to make it sound like it's coming through a speaker in the actual world. So he's actually listening to it. Something else I wanted to dive into at this moment is the sound effects. You did actually, I think we're actually washing dishes at this point, but oftentimes in-camera audio doesn't quite work. So what I did was I added actual sound effects. I timed it to your scrubbing.
Wow, I didn't know that. Well done.
That's all sound effects.
Well done.
Thank you. All right.
All right, let's keep going.
Hold it right there!
Jumping to conclusions, are we, Detective?
We've been suspecting you for years, Dr. Jackson. But now we finally have enough evidence to lock you up for good.
Whatever you think you have on me, it better be ironclad. Because if your case isn't bulletproof, you'll wish you were. All right.
So we had just like this basic underscoring track here. Then I also had these little musical cues. So right here, you could see this is just like its own little track.
The piano was its own track?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So you can hear that there.
Yeah, and it's almost like timed to the cuts, too.
Yeah. What you'll notice is he has this little like do piano sound that's very serial killer, very scary.
Yeah.
And then the other guy, when it cuts to him, oh yeah, he's got like this sort of military.
The drums. Oh, he's authoritative.
Exactly.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, because he's a cop.
Each character has their own motif. That's cool.
Anytime they pop up on screen, or generally when they pop up on screen.
Well done, man.
Thank you.
Bold words, even for a serial killer. Let's see how confident you are once the shit.
Yeah.
That one was fun. Yeah.
You see the knife, but you don't really see it as a threat until you hear the shing.
Yeah. So we just add that little sound effect. So even though it's not really making that noise, it kind of draws your attention to it. And it's also in focus here.
Yeah, Jeremy was on set, and I'm really happy to have Jeremy there because he comes up with these creative visual things that I would have thought of or cared to have captured. And he's like, it'd be cool if we got this. And I'm like, well, fine. And then I watch it, and I was like, no, I'm really glad. I'm really glad we got that. I found this Billy Mays lookalike on Craigslist. Yeah. I worked with someone else before you, and then I hired you on. And the way that I trained Jeremy up was, or tried him out anyway, was I had you edit only the ads at first. You remember that?
Yeah.
Now for the sketch after the sketch, brought to you by Squarespace.
New business idea.
Okay.
Airbnb.
Don't you mean Airbnb?
Nope. Airbnb.
And the ads are somewhat funny. They're mini sketches on their own. They're a perfect training ground to kind of understand the language and how I edit.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of a time there where I was editing the videos, and then you would kind of take it from me and then edit last adjustments and
Little
stuff.
adjustments, yeah.
And then I started editing everything. Well, now
Yeah.
I don't even edit the ads anymore. We have a different person for that.
Yeah, and he's in a cage right now.
Yeah.
He can't be here. He's in a cage. No, but I found you on Craigslist, actually. We put out Craigslist ads, and what's crazy, we had 100+ applicants.
Yeah.
And there's people who've edited for the D'Amelios and all these crazy things, but in their editing reel, they had phantom images, just double check the thing
Yeah.
that you're sending to people. Because if I see that there's a phantom frame or like a fake, like a mistake in your reel, I'm not calling you. Okay, it's like trying to be a writer and you send something that has a bunch of typos in it and is misformatted. Don't do that. And dude, if you're an editor,
Dude,
you have job security. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
Right on time.
Here I come. It is me. I'm the sheriff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it took us a minute. It took us a little back and forth to find the level of muffle we were going to have. I'm a very sound design oriented person. I mean, I minored in sound design in college. It needs to sound outside of the room. Obviously, we're pulling audio from my lavalier microphone. So in the world, it sounds exactly the same. So we have to use some trickery to really believe that he's outside.
Yeah. I have like a little bit of treble reduction and some low pass here.
Yeah.
This kind of is like my go-to when I want to make something sound like it's on the other side of a wall or it's being muffled or covered up. And then treble just kind of make it a little bit more of a background sound. I mean, like even this, like once he starts talking.
Right on time.
Here I come. It is me. I'm the sheriff.
All of that sound design goes away. There's no music. There's no sound elements or anything.
That's right. It's like in comedy or in storytelling at all of these tools are to help guide the viewer's focus. Like, what are you paying attention to? Sound design truly is like the majority of how my sketches succeed,
Yeah.
I think.
I'm about to come in now. Here I go. It is me, the sheriff.
Let's go
Oh, yeah.
back. Yeah.
So-
This whoosh transition, this was my idea. I'm so happy about this because before this, let's go to version 1.
I'm about to come in now. Here I go. It is me, the sheriff.
It just went straight to the door, and
Yeah.
we have no idea where that door is.
Yeah, you need a sense of space.
I'm about to come in now. Here I go. It is me, the sheriff.
And so what you did, I think, probably was do like a bit of a generative.
I think I captured like this wall, and then I think I expanded it in Photoshop and just made this frame really, really long. And then I have this part where it sort of like fades out. So I think I had some sort of motion blur on that, and then just continued into this. And this frame has some movement to it already. So I kind of tried to match the speed with this, because this motion right here, this is all artificial. Yeah, so what I did was I just had the camera artificially move at the same speed that this camera over here was
Love
moving.
that. It just gives you a sense of space. It gives you a sense of, and that was really important.
Yeah.
To sell that the
actually-
sheriff is here.
I'm about to come in now. Here I go. It is me, the sheriff.
That rattle was important too. To
Yeah.
find the right rattling sound, because you don't want it to sound too woody or thin. You don't want it to sound too thick. Because your brain, before we keep going, your brain can tell the difference between hot water and cold water.
Good sound design will add so much production value to your video.
It's not only adding production value, it's a necessary foundation. If you don't have it, it's not going to be convincing. This same image quality over trash sound design is unwatchable. George Lucas said 51% of a movie is sound design. I disagree. I think it's like
more.
90%.
Yeah. What I did when I was editing this one was I would go through and I would edit the whole thing just sound effects, and then I would go through and do just music, and then I would go through and do just
Multi-talented, right?
yeah,
here.
thank you.
And if I'm going to flip it here and talk about the visuals of it, these like sweeping motion shots, I think there's a feeling like any of those dramas, the traditional TV dramas, they always have just a little bit of motion. Always. They're always slightly just moving left to right just a little bit. And I wanted to kind of like, I had the DJI Ronin 2 or whatever, and just like tucked it into my stomach. And I was like, yeah, this is going to look good. This is going to look so good.
Yeah.
And I knew that when I was writing it, we were going to shoot it with like, a gimbal and like really nice prime lenses, really shallow depth of field. We knew ahead we were going to color correct it with Dehancer.
Yeah, in DaVinci Resolve, yeah.
Yeah, so we knew going in it should look like something that's supposed to be a piece of traditional media. It's modeled after like one of those CSI TV shows or like Law and Order or something. So it had to kind of parody that style.
They had to put us in like the world so that way when we jumped out of it, it's extra funny.
You have to set, like in improv comedy, they have this rule where like if you're painting on a surface. You want the surface to be clean. You know, if it's a white backdrop, it's easier to see the blue paint. And this is an example of that. We're setting the world that it's like traditional media, the stakes are high, guy comes in with a gun, you know, it's high stakes. And then there's like this goofy idiot that comes in. So it's about establishing like a level of taste, a world, a reality check. And you did such a good job, you beautiful man.
Thank you. So did you.
Let's see that whoosh again. And then also you'll notice there's a whoosh sound to help ease that visual transition.
I'm about to come in now. Here I go. It is me, the sheriff.
Yeah.
The sheriff would like to come inside now.
It's open.
Hello?
The door is open. Aha!
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, that's not what he sounded like when he walked in. All of these...
Show version 1
Yeah,
first.
so version 1.
Aha!
So that was a lot shorter. That was just me trying to get his entrance in as soon as possible. I love that last squeak. That last...
Yeah.
That's
it's
so funny.
good.
That's just, way longer now.
Yeah.
Which made his entrance just so much funnier.
All the music is gone. All the tension is gone. There's a lot of like negative fill in this too. So we had a massive white sheet that was kind of clamped on 2 C-stands. And then on the other side of them is a big black sheet, and that's called negative fill, which reduces the amount of reflections that would normally be there. And it gives you this kind of really interesting contrast. You can actually see the line of contrast on his face there. And it adds to more of a cinematic effect. But when we see the sheriff, he's a little blown out. I wish we had turned it down a little bit, but
He
it's
looks-
funny though.
Aha! Dr. Jackson!
And now we're back into it. We're back into the thing. And we're out of it.
Aha! Dr. Jackson!
Back into it.
In the same sound cue, and then retake, the mistake was made. Let's go back into it. And I made sure that we had played the exact same sound
Yeah.
effect with a boom and an intense push in as well.
Yeah.
On both of them.
So it was like take 1, take 2.
It's a psych out.
Yeah, they're filming a movie in this universe, so it's interesting watching them just like playing with them doing a take wrong and trying to get it right again. Some of these we added afterwards that weren't actually in the original script. I think we can find one at some point.
Yes, it is my home. Quite a clean house for a dirty criminal.
I want to talk about this.
Thinking. Solving the case.
Oh yeah.
So that's not. He didn't record that on the day. All the audio. Here's the original version of that little sequence.
I like the foot.
That was just all in camera, just
Yeah.
the actual sounds he made on the day. But it wasn't like it wasn't absurd enough.
And also, it wasn't clear what he was doing. So after the fact, I was like, oh, let me throw some ADR at you real quick. And so I went in my studio and I recorded some quick dialogue, which was just thinking, just what would a bad actor do? They would indicate exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
Thinking. Solving the case.
Reaction shots really serve for like a reality check. They sort of help paint the world. So like in comedy, you have what's referred to as a straight man and like the unusual person. So the straight man is just somebody who acts as like a vessel for the audience to be like, what is this? What's going on? And then the unusual person is obviously highly unusual. So unless you have that straight man reaction, which there's 2, without them, it would just be like what's referred to as a hat on a hat, just like an unusual thing on top of an unusual thing. And then you don't know what to focus on. Comedy and horror both need 2 things. They need contrast and surprise.
Solving the case.
Boom.
Mary Warner.
Contrast.
Age
Quiet,
60.
loud.
Librarian.
So there's a little sound design there. Wow. So yeah, as we cut back to
Whoa.
him, we get this sort of weird warped thing as he's kind of like
We're reintroducing the world again, the
we're
stakes
introducing
again.
like his like that he's like reminding the audience, oh yeah, he's like the killer, he's like the bad guy. So just these little like audio cues that aren't necessarily in universe. They're not like it's not music, it's not sound effects, but it's just some sound design that helps build that world. There's some more later that I want to point out.
Attention to.
Yeah.
I do frequent the library. We found tissue between Mary
And
Warner's
then
teeth.
this made me laugh every time.
Oh,
This right here. What do bad actors do? They look right down the barrel.
I do frequent the library. We found tissue between Mary Warner's teeth.
It's just so stupid. That was pulled from a montage of me just doing behaviors for a while and just like, no, and then walking around and spinning in the chair. I think that was all just a part of one big series.
I loved that movement. I knew it. See, and that's like
So
another
did
thing.
I.
That's almost like an indicator. Like, okay, we should use that when he just laughs immediately after doing that.
You wouldn't happen to have any bite marks on you, would you, Doctor?
Toothy or not toothy?
Music cuts out because he's doing something he shouldn't be. And it's a subliminal thing. Editing is really just about guiding a viewer's focus. What am I supposed to be paying attention to? That's all it is.
Yeah.
Like, I give feedback over Loom, which is this like, I click record, it records my screen, and you see a little circle of my face in a corner. And when I'm watching a video, he's able to see my real-time reaction, whether I'm laughing or not. You know, I'm not typing "this is funny." He can see me smiling or not. Like, I think that's really important to see the human element. And also, now that Jackie is like my full-time producer, I'm having her watch my looms of me reviewing edits to just understand why I make the decisions I make and why I make the cuts that I make. And you know, he knows that when you go from a tight shot to a wide shot, I call that a reality check, because that's the philosophy of my editing. It's like insane situation, reality check. Insane situation, reality check. It's like in the edit, you can cultivate a straight man situation.
What I do here is I go through these. I put all my characters on a different sequence, so that way when I need to go to a different character, I just do this. And then when I go back to the sheriff, I don't have to go back to where I am in the timeline, and I know I'm back exactly where I left off, and I can just keep it going. And I like labeling them different, so I know exactly who's who on the timeline. So it kind of like just helps me quickly keep track of which character is which.
Would you, Doctor?
Toothy or not toothy?
Okay, that's not in the script.
Sorry, I forgot. Forgot what? I forgot my lines.
Yeah, pretty much anytime anyone's out of character, it's interesting because like these are almost like all the way zoomed out. We're using almost the entirety of the frame. I'm getting really up these really close, tight shots, which is kind of like a reminder that we're back in the world.
So in the writing process of this, it was kind of difficult because I was trying to figure out, like, do we pull out of the world and like show the camera guy and show the boom? It was really hard for me to figure out, like, these actors are in a video and they're filming and stuff, and then we're zooming out, and then, you know, they're acknowledging that they forgot their lines and they're resetting. I didn't know how much of that world, so we only zoomed out just a little bit to give some context of this guy's a really bad actor. That was kind of I think we found a sweet spot for it,
Yeah.
though. This open mouth cough.
You wouldn't happen to have it.
I love this cough.
Yes.
Show V1 of that, because it was different. The pacing was different.
wasn't in the first version.
Forgot what? I forgot my lines. You wouldn't have.
Yeah, the cough there felt weird to me. And so we pushed it, it's the same shot, it's the same cough, but we pushed that to later in the timeline to give more of that element of contrast. Because right then, it was a hat on a hat. But we went back into the world, out of the world.
Yeah.
Back into the world.
You wouldn't happen to have it.
You wouldn't happen to have any bite marks on you, would you, Doctor?
None that I'm willing to share.
This angle right here, I think we did this on the wide, and it's kind of like this Band-Aid looks so small on the wide, and it wasn't really reading. So I was like, let's get really up in there, and let's get this tight shot of it, so that way the audience knows exactly what to focus on, and he can be covering up the Band-Aid. And what I also did here was I added this little bit of
The scream.
the scream.
Was there a chainsaw in
There's
there?
a chainsaw in there too.
That little scream. There's something called anthropomorphizing. It's where you add like a human element or like an animalistic element to something. Like, for example, if a train is coming in a movie you can anthropomorphize that by adding like a lion roar or something. You know, you add sort of an additional thing that's not necessarily, you know, to this coffee.
Oh my God, don't trick me.
Isn't that interesting? The little scream when he's covering up the Band-Aid, it tells you subliminally what happened. There's danger. There's history there. Something went down.
Yeah. Here's the current ending as it is.
Any last words before we take you away, Doctor?
I have 2 words for you.
Hydrochloric acid!
I was supposed to say that. What is that?
It's hydrochloric acid!
Why did you spray me?
He asked what it was.
Is that real acid?
The real deal.
Oh, what the where did you get that?
eBay.
eBay?
I was the highest bidder.
Acid?
Hydrochloric acid!
Oh my God!
So that's a fun, very chaotic ending. Here's the original version of that.
Hydrochloric acid!
I was supposed to say that.
What is that? It's hydrochloric acid!
Why did you spray me?
He asked what it was.
Is that real acid?
The real deal.
Oh, what the where did you get that?
eBay.
eBay?
I was the highest bidder.
Acid?
The state of Louisiana hereby sentences you to die.
So that was in the original script for the first draft of this. That was like part of the script, and I feel like it was me who I was like, I feel like we're kind of are departing from the joke a little bit here, and so I think we changed it so we're just focusing on the acid stuff.
Keep playing it because
You lying, you moron!
Hydrochloric acid!
Somebody call cut, please.
Different punchline.
could somebody call cut, please? Yeah, and it just felt. You always want an edit to leave on a high. You always want it to be like when the video's over, someone's laughing, and then they see, you know, that another video is playing, and they rush down to the comments and comment or subscribe or something. So yeah, ending on a high is super important to me. And so I decided, I knew that I had said the line, it's been loaded this whole time, and that just made me laugh when we did it. And so I made sure that Jeremy had that be the tag.
Yeah, it's always, I find like stuff that you come up with on the day is just ends up being way funnier than like something that's scripted.
Yeah, it's you need the script when you're acting opposite yourself. Otherwise, you're just talking into a void, and it's hard to keep track. But so, you know, in real film and TV as well, you know, you do it like 3 or 4 times as written, and then you do one just for you or whatever, where you just say what you want. And so this is kind of the best of both worlds, I think.
And you know, just like different colors for every time the gun goes off. There's like an exposure shift. I think that might be actually...
Did you mask it?
I think
so. Or it's
so.
everywhere?
It is masked. So it starts where the actual gunshot goes off to kind of make it a little bit more realistic. Fortunate, the light was on this side of his face anyway.
Yeah, so it worked
So
out.
it kind of made it a lot more easy to sell.
All right, that was our video and our edit of when the acting is really, really bad. Turns out the editing was really, really good.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. All right, now let's smile and wave.
All right, goodbye.